You're watching the station that works for you. Good Morning Maryland at 9.
Thank you for joining us this morning. All right, pretty soon school will be out. The kids will be home for summer. For some of you, that's great. Others are going, uh-oh. But there is so much that you can do to enrich their lives outside of the classroom, and it's really important. Our good friend, Ben Schifrin, head of Genesee School, is here with some advice this morning. Always good to see you. Thanks for coming in.
It's always good to be here.
All right, why is this so important?
Well, number one, for two major reasons. One, for learning loss in the summer. It's important to keep kids engaged so they don't forget what they've learned during the school year. And number two, a lot of learning or learning about life really takes place outside the classroom, not necessarily in the classroom. Outside in the real world, they get to apply the skills they've learned in the classroom to real life.
You said number one thing that parents need to keep in mind, exercise every day is so important.
That is critical. As we're learning, exercise really helps the brain in many different ways. It helps memory, it helps test scores. In fact, we know that students should really do exercise before they start learning. It is absolutely an essential part for good education.
As the same goes for reading, you know, they pick up a book and maybe one that they want to read.
Absolutely. Well, a lot of schools have summer reading lists, but I think it's critical that we begin to teach students to enjoy reading, that there's a pleasure to reading, that, you know, you have imagination, you create. So really, let students pick out books that they like, whether it's about sports or topics or an area of interest, and let them read it over the summer.
The other thing that you recommended, which I think is a great idea, have a lot of trips to the zoo, to the museum.
You know, Baltimore is filled with unbelievable resources in the summer for students to have a great time. And really, from museums to different down at the Inner Harbor, there's wonderful things that students can learn without being in the classroom. Absolutely.
Let's say you're planning a vacation. You recommended let the child sort of map it out for you. What's the benefit behind that?
A lot. Organization. You know, one of the things we talk about is executive function. Students really do not have organizational skills. If you're taking a trip with computers today, let your student or let your child go onto the internet, MapQuest the trip, bring it to you, look at alternate routes. This begins to teach them organization, planning, very important skills they're going to need for life.
And volunteering, too.
Volunteering. I don't know a school that doesn't have a community service requirement.
Oh, really? In the summer?
In the summer. And really, using that in the summer or time really develops so many skills that are critical, and above all, the social skills that students need, job skills that students need. And if your student is in upper school, let him go get a summer job. The rewards for that are numerous. Number one, they begin to learn the value of money, what things cost, the amount of work it is just to achieve that money. Number two, they begin to learn responsibility, why school keeps telling them it's important to be on time. But I think as parents, if you have time this summer, please engage your children. Don't let them spend the time on the internet. Don't let them spend the time texting. Really, as we've talked about before, summer learning loss is critical in this country. For a developed nation like ourselves, we have the longest summer break. And really, the more you can engage your child in summer activities, the more you can take what they've learned in the classroom. You're out, they've learned percent. Let them figure out the tip when you go out to a restaurant. Using these skills are critical for success.
Oh, the time is precious. Thank you so much for coming in.
I love coming in. Thank you for having me.
We love having you here, and I know the school year's ending, so you'll have to come during the summer.
Well, I
will.
will.
Into it.
Okay.
Twist your arm.
Twist my arm.
All right, Ben Schifrin with the Genesee School.
Great to be here. Thank you.
Always good to have you. Charlie.